Hey, Mrs. Tom. I am ready to pop on in there on my way in, please. Hold on. I'm just going to pop right on in, see where it leads, just in case we have time to tap back off into that, the heat that Trump is getting from this bogus war. Let's go. You ready? Y'all ready? Please hit the like button, comment in. Hey, Denise. I hope the notification went out right since I used the old. Hold on. Oh
The
no.
Wisconsin fish fry is mean to be shared, and we'd love to share it with you at Culver's. If you're putting off selling your work because most platforms overcomplicate it, stop scrolling. I realize that
Donald Trump's base is starting to revolt, and impeachment is now on the table. I didn't say conviction, but I said impeachment. Trump is burning up and skid marking to a stop over this Iran fiasco. Now let's set the stage. Trump ran on no new wars. I'm the anti-war president. I'm the guy who will keep us out of wars. In 2016, it was Hillary will start 4 wars, but I won't. In 2020, it was Biden will take us to war, but I won't.
Oh, he lied. Shout out. I'm trying to see if Jasmine Crockett. The polls just closed at 9, so we will tap into some of that as well. Live results. Texas primary.
9, the Democrats, Ernest Clayton, Peter Filler, Letitia Gutierrez.
So hopefully by the time we finish with this, we'll see if Jasmine Crockett get in there. I started looking at her funny when she was taking the APEC money, but they said it wasn't really APEC. But let's go.
Are now in place. You know who the cast of characters. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the players are now in place. You know who the cast of characters are. It is definitely time for us to begin pulling it all together for you on a neat timeline. Erika's missing years. Where is she? Is she in Eastern Europe? Why was she ever in Eastern Europe? Also, is it possible that Lori, her mom, was in Afghanistan? Is Lori actually a direct descendant of Vince Lombardi? I actually think she is. Also, we've got Tyler Boyer out in Romania now too. What exactly goes on in Romania? What goes on in Eastern Europe? What is everybody doing there? We have a lot to unpack today, so let's jump right in. Welcome back to Bride of Charlie. We have nothing to hide.
Yeah, boo, you got a lot to hide.
Now too. What exactly goes on in Romania? What goes on in Eastern Europe? What is everybody doing there? We have a lot to unpack today, so let's jump right in. Welcome back to Bride of Charlie. We have nothing to hide. Okay, so we left you guys off at Tesseract, right? Erika's at Tesseract, formerly the Looking Glass School. I cannot get enough of that. What goes on in Arizona? Now, at the time, of course, this was a brand new concept. Tesseract, charter schools, private companies coming in to run schools better. It's going to be funded with, obviously, government budgets, but they are going to do it better and produce better results. Tesseract, we have learned, is backed financially by the Bush family, the Walton family, a model that's been designed by psychologists alongside Dr. Franz Spacestein. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Or maybe a better question is, what could possibly go right with this cast of characters? Now, I had alluded to you that Dr. Jerry conducts a lot of research. They had to give her own research center, gender clinic, gender center for the Beehive, by the way, under the guise of exploring issues related to feminism and gender studies. Jerry Franzway travels. He travels abroad a lot. In particular, she travels to Eastern Europe. She did this with a team to research gender issues in 1990. Take a look at this. Wow. According to Franzway, the final big project of the semester, this is at Radford, will be taking a group of students to Eastern Europe. We will research the expectations of men and women as work life and day-to-day life change after the wall came down. Really? Imagine your kid goes to this school and the teacher's going, we're gonna go in 1990 to Eastern Europe after the wall came down, the fall of the Berlin Wall. You're just gonna jump right in there. Do you understand what happened after that? Chaos. That's what happened. Chaos and carnage. Again, why would you take students there to research gender issues? Do we think
does that?
that gender issues are ranking high in the minds of those Eastern Europeans? Now, for clarity, as soon as the Berlin Wall fell, the intra-Eastern European wars began, right? The Yugoslav wars, bloody, brutal. That began same year. August of 1990, when Franz Fache is going out there, Dr. Franz Fache is going out there. So I have to ask myself, what is she actually doing?
Hold on. Yes, you've been.
Let me enter this into the conversation. Are you guys aware of how many
we've been lied
children
to
go
about
missing
Israel
during
and
times of war? During all
Trump.
that chaos, how many kids are trafficked
know God
during the
is
fog of
lining
war?
everything
Now, I know
up
this
for
because one of my
Jesus
best friends
coming
in
back. Now,
college
that's true, right?
was Romanian.
Right,
She
Mimi?
grew up with real gypsies grabbing children off the street. She would tell me a story about how she was almost trafficked when she
Who?
was a child.
What?
And it
Who?
makes you want there to research gender issues. Do we think that gender issues are ranking high in the minds of those Eastern Europeans? Now, for clarity, as soon as the Berlin Wall fell, the intra-Eastern European wars began, right?
Thank you,
the Yugoslav
Mimi.
wars,
I appreciate
bloody,
that.
brutal. That began same year. August of 1990, when Franz Fache is going out there, Dr. Franz Fache is going out
Yes,
there.
Cynthia.
So I have to ask myself, what is she actually doing? Let me enter this into the conversation. Are you guys aware of how many children go missing during times of war? During all that chaos, how many kids are trafficked during the there to research gender issues? Do we think that gender issues are ranking high in the minds of those Eastern Europeans? Now, for clarity, as soon as the Berlin Wall fell, the intra-Eastern European wars began, right? The Yugoslav wars, bloody, brutal. That began same year. August of 1990, when Franz Fache is going out there, Dr. Franz Fache is going out there. So I have to ask myself, what is she actually doing? Let me enter this into the conversation. Are you guys aware of how many children go missing during times of war? During all that chaos, how many kids are trafficked during the fog of war? Now, I know this because one of my best friends in college was Romanian. She grew up with real gypsies grabbing children off the street. She would tell me a story about how she was almost trafficked when she was a child. And it makes you wonder. War. Now, I know this because one of my best friends in college was Romanian. She grew up with real gypsies grabbing children off the street. She would tell me a story about how she was almost trafficked when she was a child. And it makes you wonder, where exactly, when they are taking these children, where exactly are they taking these children
Military
to?
bases.
How could that go unnoticed? Now, I still will feel this way about Dr. Franz Fache. I will state this unequivocally. I don't think Dr. Jerry Franz Fache, who is a verifiable fraud, was there in Eastern Europe researching gender issues. May she rest in peace, but that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Now, I should also mention that Tesseract had a principal, she would actually climb a ladder at Tesseract while Erika was a student, who had very strong military ties. A woman named Nancy Gerard Hall, she will become. Nancy was a military brat. Her father was Colonel Paul Tracy Gerard, who was a member of the Scottish Rite. A lot of that going on, a lot of Freemasonry going on. Exactly, when they are taking these children, where exactly are they taking these children to? How could that go unnoticed? Now, I still will feel this way about Dr. Franz Fache. I will state this unequivocally. I don't think Dr. Jerry Franz Fache, who is a verifiable fraud, was there in Eastern Europe researching gender issues. May she rest in peace, but that's my opinion and I'm sticking to it. Now, I should also mention that Tesseract had a principal, she would actually climb a ladder at Tesseract while Erika was a student, who had very strong military ties. A woman named Nancy Gerard Hall, she will become. Nancy was a military brat. Her father was Colonel Paul Tracy Gerard, who was a member of the Scottish Rite. A lot of that going on, a lot of Freemasonry going on. at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, out in Kansas. He was a part of the Blue Lodge, Blue Masonic Lodge in Galesburg, Illinois as well. He was also the chief military law enforcement officer at the 7th Army in Europe. That's in Germany, Stuttgart, Germany, in the 1950s. Look, maybe he knows where Jean-Michel Trogneux went. Maybe they crossed paths. I don't know. The point is,
Hey, Joe.
it's not the only military tie. Nancy's brother, Paul Tracy Gerard Jr., would follow in his father's footsteps. He was a major in the military in 1977, and I'm sure he continued
we
climbing
got
the
to
ranks
protect
after
these
that
kids.
because he was also a
It's a
member of
whole-
the Military Honor Society known as Scabbard and Blade.
There's a whole threat on their life.
But that's not it. Also, her first husband, Stephen Edward Sample. He comes from a long line of military men himself. He was a second lieutenant in the Air Force when they married. So that's Nancy. She's in charge of the curriculum and much more over at Tesseract. Now, I think, sure, he continued climbing the ranks after that because he was also a member
bless your
of the
heart.
Military
I am
Honor
so sorry to
Society
hear
known
that,
as
Tabitha.
Scabbard and Blade.
May God,
But
may
that's
you
not
get
it. Also, her
healing.
first husband, Stephen Edward
The healing
Sample.
that you need,
He
if you
comes
have
from a
not
long
already
line of
received
military
it.
men himself. He was a second lieutenant in the Air Force when they married. So that's Nancy. She's in charge of the curriculum and much more over at Tesseract. Now, I think it's fair to wonder, to speculate, whether or not she approached that job with military precision. Anyway, let's jump back into our Erika Kirk timeline so we can look at all of this cleanly, okay? Let's start at 1988. We know Erika is born on either November 20th or November 22nd, depending on who's telling the story. Who's the clerk? We don't know. In 1990,
Thank
Dr.
you,
Jerry
Lord.
Franzfey, and I want to mention this about Dr. Jerry Franzfey. I don't know if she is still married to Kent, because we can't find marriage records between Lori and Kent, but we also could not locate divorce records between Dr. Jerry Franzfey and Kent. So I'm just going to put that out there. But what we do know is 1990, she's going to start conducting research in Eastern Europe. 1991, we've already shown you this. Erika will attend a private daycare. That's at the Walnut Corner in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is in a corporate business building that's owned by Child Care Visions. We have that photo for you, which was taken Halloween 1991. Erika is on the brink of her third birthday. In 1994, Erika is attending St. Ursula Villa for kindergarten. That's, again, 94 to 95. In 1995, Erika is attending the Tesseract School down in Paradise Valley. That's going to be from her 1995 to 1996 school year. And her parents, Kent and Lori, allegedly get married that year in Marblehead, Massachusetts, although we cannot find a single shred of documentation that verifies that. Does it mean it doesn't exist? It just means that we haven't come across it, and neither have any of our sleuths. And our sleuths are usually pretty good at that. 96, she is still at the Tesseract School. 98, she is also at the Tesseract School. That's the 98 to 99 school year. Erika is in the third grade. And this is when Lori and Kent will file for divorce in Cincinnati. We'll note that Kent is living already in Arizona, and Lori is listed as living in Cincinnati, at least if their divorce docs are to be believed. Now, we should discuss 1999, okay? Because I was sort of under the impression, I had indicated to you guys that Erika might have been enrolled at St. Ursula Villa back up in Ohio from 1999 to 2002. But we stand corrected on that. That's not accurate. People who attended during those years up in Ohio at St. Ursula Villa, they emailed us, they went through their yearbooks, and they said that she is not featured in those yearbooks. So we don't have Erika from 2000 until 2002. Now, it's possible that she went to a different nearby school in Scottsdale. So I'm going to put it out again, a little APB here. If you went to school with Erika Franzfey anywhere in the United States,
Oh yeah,
from the
I
years
think if you
2000
need
to
therapy, you better
2002,
go get
we
it.
would
I think
like to hear
I
from you.
think it's
Okay, we'd like to hear from you.
absolutely ridiculous for any anybody to be hung up on the old myths or, this stereotype about not needing therapy. That's crazy as hell. Yeah, that's crazy as hell, you know. The mind manipulation, the deceit, and everything that we're finding out now, it's a matter that we haven't lost our mind. So yeah, get you some help. Make sure it's somebody who's good and relatable and that can really tap into where you're broken or where you're hurt, where you have removed yourself from places because of trauma, emotionally and mentally. Get some help. Get you some help. Yeah. I have a problem with people who need help and don't get it versus the people who need help and get it. Yeah.
Now, what we can confirm, and this is where it gets pretty interesting, is that around this time, you will recall American men and women are being shipped out to Afghanistan. Nobody really knows why.
And when you go to therapy, ask God to, be the therapist. Give the therapist what she or he needs to help you heal. Give them the words to say. I ask God to, use them as a vessel to tap into those areas that you really need. It's a lot going on in this world. It's a lot going on and a lot of deception. I would ask that you find you a spiritual. When I mean that, I'm saying I'm going to speak on what I am familiar with, a Christian therapist, because there's a lot of deceit and there is a lot of evil going on to deceive you, deceive your mind, just to deceive your heart, Yeah, but I would definitely ask God before I go into any session to be the therapist for your healing. Give them the words to say where it will register emotionally and mentally.
But Operation Enduring Freedom
The word is so
going to
confusing.
begin. Don't ask me how or why. If Saudis elect Scottsdale, so I'm going to put it out again, a little APB here. If you went to school with Erika Franzfey anywhere in the United States from the years 2000 to 2002, we would like to hear from you. Okay, we'd like to hear from you.
Definitely
now,
wolves in sheep
what we
clothing.
can confirm, and this is where it gets pretty interesting, is that around this time, you will recall American men and women are being shipped out to Afghanistan. Nobody really knows why. But Operation Enduring Freedom is going to begin. Don't ask me how or why. If Saudis allegedly drove planes into the World Trade Center, why are we immediately a couple of weeks later, on October 7th, 2001, sending people to Afghanistan? It's very confusing. None of it makes any sense. Don't try to understand corruption. It's very dizzying. But that's what happens. Operation Enduring Freedom begins, and we should note that Erika's mother, her company,
oh Lord, not
E3
her again,
Tech, is going to be used for this operation. That's according to its current website. Okay, E3 Tech has a website, and on its website, it tells us that they participated in Operation Enduring Freedom. And not only that, because don't forget, like, Lori at some point falls and bumps her head, and she's Steve Jobs, she's Nikola Tesla, I don't know, she's just a tech genius. She
absolutely,
is
Mimi.
even going to eventually win an award for her contributions to Operation Enduring Freedom. Did Erika go overseas with her mother during those years, maybe in 2001? I don't even know if Lori went overseas during those years. I'm just telling you that according to their own website, E3 Tech, they received an award for whatever they were doing for that operation. We'll leave that open-ended because we truly do not know. Okay, so let's get back into our timeline. Let's take a look at 1999. Again, we don't know where Erika is for that school year, but that's going to be the year that Lori files a lot of different companies, corporations. December 1st, 1999, with the help of Rick and Donna Erpenbeck, she forms Virtual Registration International Incorporated, again indicating that she's going to be doing some work overseas. She also forms Intelemet, Incorporated, on September 24th. Lori Franzke also is going to form Intelemet International Incorporated of Delaware on December 2nd of that year. Okay, she's getting ready to do business. Go to the year 2000, Tesseract School goes bankrupt. Millions are apparently missing. You don't know where Erika is that year, but you can see for-profit corporate drive to run public schools. It's gone. And it just has a full-blown meltdown, and that ends that. In 2001, as I mentioned to you, we got 9/11, we have Operation Enduring Freedom, and Lori's E3 Tech Company is going to be used for that operation. 2002, we have no idea which school Erika went to. We'd like to find out. In 2003,
Absolutely.
Lori Franzke forms another
So I said,
Intelemet
trust
company.
in the
This
Lord
one is Intelemet
with
of
all thy
Arizona,
heart.
LLC.
Lean not to thy own understanding. Acknowledge him in all thy
Forms that on
ways, and he
January
will
9th.
direct your path.
2005, we've gone over this. Now we can document Erika. She is at Notre Dame. She is playing basketball. She also is in the pageant world. She wins first runner-up of the National America Miss Arizona pageant. But the most crucial part of 2005 is what Lori Franzke is doing. Because people have pointed this out, but there is a relic that shows you that she received money from the government. IMET Laboratories. She's listed in the House bill budget. She's receiving money from the Department of Homeland Securities. IMET Laboratories, perhaps, we could not find formation docs for that, but maybe we can assume that that's related to Intelemet, because she's starting all at Intelemet, Arizona, Intelemet. That could be shortened from Intelemet Laboratories. Okay, what is she doing for them? In 2006, we know Erika's going to win the National American Miss Teen pageant. She gets that chance to travel and to meet Senator John Kyle. She also is going to present plans for what nobody knows to Rep. J.D. Hayworth. And she gets involved in charity, Andrea's Closet, which is going to work with the hospital in Winslow. We showed you this article. This truly is the best version we could find. I know it's very smudged. But I wanted to point out to you that somebody emailed me about this article. Erika sort of tells this story. We received an interesting email because we showed you this article, and in this article, I'm going to read for you what it actually states. This is Erika speaking. She says, quote, "Winslow has so much character. We love stopping here." And then the writer continues, she and her family have come through Winslow many times on their way to basketball games around the city that she plays in. The email we received came from a very credible person. I will leave it at that. I'm going to protect this person's identity. They said, that is BS. That is BS. They explained to me something I didn't know, maybe you did. But in the state of Arizona, 80% of the population lives in Maricopa County. And the person went on to say, I'm very familiar with basketball. I can tell you that at most, because of the way that they structured doing teams and traveling teams, Erika would at most, if she played for all 4 years of high school, because Winslow is located 3 hours outside Scottsdale, she would have only gone to Winslow 2 times. So this is just, her mother is involved in this, immediately flagging this as weird. How did she get involved with this hospital? Elsewhere, she says that she also loves to do charity work abroad. That would imply Erika has already been abroad, right? She's already been abroad, so was she with Lori? Did Lori and her travel to do some stuff with the military? It's a fair assumption, or it's a fair question, rather. I haven't answered our earlier questions, so probably no chance that they're going to give us clear answers on this either. We can jump back into our timeline to relevant portions. In 2007, we know she graduates from Notre Dame Prep. She is Miss America 2018, she begins playing basketball at Regis University. Lori's AZ Tech International Incorporated is going to be canceled for lack of a tax filing, but don't worry, she's going to bring it back soon. We can essentially now jump back into the timeline into 2008, because that's where we really left off. Erika's missing. She's locked away like Cinderella. She's reading her Bible. She's only seeing her pastor while at Regis University for that 2007-2008 school year. I should mention Erika was majoring in business administration. Okay, that was her major. And that record, that relic of her, is still available on the Regis player bio. It tells us what she was doing, majoring in business administration. Now, we can assume while she's locked away the following year, and this is a kind assumption, that she continued her studies online. But in the future, she's going to edit and say that she majored in political science from the beginning. That's not true. What we do know for certain is that it's going to take Erika 5 years to graduate college. And for some reason, in this year of 2008, Lori's going to receive a lot of money from the Army National Guard. IMET Laboratories, again, associated with Lori Franzfey, the Army National Guard, is going to have to disclose that they gave $2.4 million to IMET Laboratories. Take a look at that. J3, J6, that's got to do with like cyber security, cyber operations. So Erika already, via her mother, who she claims raised her as a single mom, she didn't. Unless maybe her mindset, it was the single mom because Erika was over on a base with her mother. But we now know that during this year, this crucial year where Erika is missing, her mother is going to wind up having received $2.4 million. I mean, this woman, from a model to a secretary to now she's getting all of this money for tech, it's interesting. Let's jump into 2009 because it's a most crucial year. Things are going to start to get spicy. Okay, so remember, going into this, Lori's already working with the United States military. She's receiving millions. Do not forget that. In 2009, Lori Franzfey is going to establish Everyday Heroes Like You in April. In her filing, she will claim that it is a faith-based organization that is raising funds and developing programs for vulnerable children. Okay, they publish this initially on July 2nd of 2009. Okay, Lori seems a bit busy.
What do you mean
She's already working with the
delayed?
government. She's maybe in Afghanistan or at least creating tech with we can find. I know it's very smudged. But I wanted to point out to you that somebody emailed me about this article. Erika sort of tells this story. We received an interesting email because we showed you this article, and in this article, I'm going to read for you what it actually states. This is Erika speaking. She says, quote, "Winslow has so much character. We love stopping here." And then the writer continues, she and her family have come through Winslow many times on their way to basketball games around the state that she plays in. The email we received came from a very credible person. I will leave it at that. I'm going to protect this person's identity. They said, "That is BS. That is BS. They explained to me something I didn't know, maybe you did. But in the state of Arizona, 80% of the population lives in Maricopa County." And the person went on to say, "I'm very familiar with basketball. I can tell you that at most, because of the way that they structured doing teams and traveling teams, Erika would at most, if she played for all 4 years of high school, because Winslow is located 3 hours outside of Scottsdale, she would have only gone to Winslow 2 times. So this is just, her mother is involved in this, immediately flagging this as weird. How did she get involved with this hospital? Elsewhere, she says that she also loves to do charity work abroad. That would imply Erika has already been abroad, right? She's already been abroad. So was she with Lori? Did Lori and her travel to do some stuff with the military? It's a fair assumption, or it's a fair question, rather. We haven't answered our earlier questions, so probably no chance that they're going to give us clear answers on this either. We can jump back into our timeline to relevant portions, in 2007, we know she graduates from Notre Dame Prep. She is Miss America Teen. She begins playing basketball at Regis University. Lori's AZ Tech International Incorporated is going to be canceled for lack of a tax filing, but don't worry, she's going to bring it back soon. We can essentially now jump back into the timeline into 2008, because that's where we really left off. Erika's missing. She's locked away like Cinderella. She's reading her Bible. She's only seeing her pastor while at Regis University for the
only seeing her
2007-2008
pastor.
school year. I should mention Erika
She
was
need the
majoring in
Lord.
business administration. Okay, that was her major. And that record, that relic of her, is still available on the Regis player bio. It tells us what she was doing, majoring in business administration. Now, we can assume while she's locked away the following year, and this is a kind assumption, that she continued her studies online. But in the future, she's going to edit and say that she majored in political science from the beginning. That's not true. What we do know for certain is that it's going to take Erika 5 years to graduate college. And for some reason, in this year of 2008, Lori's going to receive a lot of money from the Army National Guard. IMET Laboratories, again, associated with Lori Franzke, is going, the Army National Guard, is going to have to disclose that they gave $2.4 million to IMET Laboratories. Take a look at that. J3, J6, that's got to do with like cyber security, cyber operations. So Erika already, via her mother, who she claims raised her as a single mom, she didn't.
Always lying.
Or it's a fair question, rather.
It's always a lie, right?
I haven't answered our earlier questions, so probably no chance that they're going to give us clear answers on this either. We can jump back into our timeline to relevant portions. In 2007, we know she graduates from Notre Dame Prep. She is Miss America Teen. She begins playing basketball at Regis University. Lori's AZ Tech International Incorporated is going to be canceled for lack of a tax filing, but don't worry, she's going to bring it back soon. We can essentially now jump back into the timeline into 2008, because that's where we really left off. Erika's missing. She's locked away like Cinderella. She's reading her Bible. She's only seeing her pastor while at Regis University for that 2007-2008 school year. I should mention Erika was majoring in business administration. Okay, that was her major. And that record, that relic of her, is still available on the Regis player bio. It tells us what she was doing, majoring in business administration. Now, we can assume while she's locked away the following year.
Oh, wow.
This
People
is a
were being
kind
turned
assumption
away at. Hold on.
Brown voters across the state of Texas at the command of the White House. Well, thank you all for coming out. Listen, what we're dealing with in Dallas County.
Oh, wow.
Districts, as Jasmine knows, our districts were redrawn at the command of the White House to try and eliminate the voices of communities like those here in North Texas. The district that I am running in right now, this newly drawn 33rd district, should not exist. A Trump-appointed judge said that it was a racial gerrymander, and yet here we are still running in these districts. Because the Dallas County Republican Party decided that they wanted to continue to restrict and make it more difficult for folks to vote.
Can y'all believe that?
Watching your child cry from hunger and having nothing to give. Right now in Sudan, over 14 million people have been displaced. This is not
for folks to vote. We have had chaos across our community here in North Texas, as folks have gone to their normal polling place and been turned away, told to go somewhere else. Working folks who only have a certain amount of time to drop off their kids, get to the job, do the things they have to do to take care of their family, are being redirected.
Can y'all believe this?
Oftentimes leading to confusion. This is outrageous. It's unacceptable. And we should all recognize what is happening here.
Hey, Denise.
That we've had hundreds of reports of voters turned away from their polling place. And as somebody who was a voting rights lawyer before I ever ran for Congress or served in office, and I know Jasmine knows this as well from her background in civil rights, that sometimes a new law can be worse than a bad law. When folks don't know what to expect, when they don't know where to go or who to turn to, we end up in a situation like this. So here's where things stand at this moment, and then I'll turn it over to Congresswoman Crockett. The polls have been extended in Dallas County until 9 p.m. I encourage every voter in Dallas County to get in line by 7 p.m. to make sure that your vote counts. Should you get in line after that, though, stay in line. Cast your provisional ballot, and we will make sure and do everything we can that your vote is one that counts.
Intentional sabotage.
Thanks to a judge's order.
Lord, make it right.
I was ready to bring a lawsuit to try and extend this. Luckily, it was already done. They have a couple more hours to try and deal with this chaos.
Lord, make it right.
So to folks here in Dallas County, to my fellow North Texans, I say make sure that you find your polling place at DallasCountyVotes.org. Look up your new polling place, again, at DallasCountyVotes.org. And make sure, if you can, to be in line by 7, but if you don't, we'll still fight to make sure your vote is going to be counted.
They the gerrymander.
We're in this fight not just for our
with the districts, and they've been turned away.
That is at risk in this country. Of communities like those here in North Texas. The district that I am running in right now, this newly drawn 33rd district, should not exist. A Trump-appointed judge said that it was a racial gerrymander. And yet here we are still running in these districts. Because the Dallas County Republican Party decided that they wanted to continue to restrict and make it more difficult for folks to vote. We have
the
had
sabotage is real.
Our community here in North Texas, as folks have gone to their normal polling place and been turned away, told to go somewhere else. Working folks who only have a certain amount of time to drop off their kids, get to the job, do the things they have to do to take care of their family, are being redirected and oftentimes leading to confusion. This is outrageous. It's unacceptable. And we should all recognize what is happening here. That we've had hundreds of reports of voters turned away from their polling place.
In 2026.
Before I ever ran for Congress or served in office, and I know Jasmine knows this as well from her background in civil rights, that sometimes a new law can be worse than a bad law. When folks don't know what to expect, when they don't know where to go or who to turn to, we end up in a situation like this. So here's where things stand at this moment, and then I'll turn it over to Congresswoman Crockett. The polls have been extended in Dallas County until 9 p.m. I encourage every voter in Dallas County to get in line by 7 p.m. to make sure that your vote counts. Should you get in line after that, though, stay in line. Cast your provisional ballot, and we will make sure and do everything we can that your vote is one that counts. We have been given an opportunity thanks to a judge's order. I was ready to bring a lawsuit to try and extend this. Luckily, it was already done. They have a couple more hours to try and deal with this chaos. So to folks here in Dallas County, to my fellow North Texans, I say make sure that you find your polling place at DallasCountyVotes.org. Look up your new polling place, again, at DallasCountyVotes.org. And make sure, if you can, to be in line by 7, but if you don't, we'll still fight to make sure your vote is going to be counted. And we'll be there till 9 o'clock. We are in this fight not just for our elections, but for the right to vote in this state and the democracy that is at risk in this country. This is bigger than just what's happening in Dallas County or just the chaos that we've seen today. It is a pattern and one that we're going to fight against.
Sabotage.
Thank you so much. My heart is breaking.
Hold on. I need
I've got people that are sending me emails. I have video recordings of voters that are crying and hurt.
Hold on, y'all. I gotta get Juice back over here.
That are crying and hurt.
Hold on.
None of this should have happened. Let's talk about the many failures. Let's talk about what was intentional. Number one, the Republicans only did this
Thank
to
you, Denise. Hold on.
intentionally disenfranchise and confuse voters. That is number one. But number two, while many people were showing up to the polling locations, they were told things such as, you can't provide a provisional ballot. Now, that is exactly when you would provide a provisional ballot. If you were saying, this is my polling location.
Say, make sure that you
I don't
find
understand
your polling
why
place
this
at
is still dark.
DallasCountyVotes.org. Look up your new polling place, again, at DallasCountyVotes.org. And make sure, if you can, to be in line by 7, but if you don't, we'll still fight to make sure your vote is going to be counted. And we'll be there till 9 o'clock. We are in this fight not just for our elections, but for the right to vote in this state and the democracy that is at risk in this country. This is bigger than just what's happening in Dallas County or just the chaos that we've seen today. It is a pattern and one that we're going to fight against. Congressman Crockett.
Thank you so much. My heart is breaking. I've got people that are sending me emails. I have video recordings of voters that are crying and hurt. None of this should have happened. Let's talk about the many failures. Let's talk about what was intentional. Number one, the Republicans only did this to intentionally disenfranchise and confuse voters. That is number one. But number two, while many people were showing up to the polling locations, they were told things such as, you can't provide a provisional ballot. Now, that is exactly when you would provide a provisional ballot. If you were saying, this is my polling location, and they're saying, no, it's not, you should, at a very minimum, be able to cast your provisional ballot. We've heard countless stories of people being told you can't. Then we hear stories of people saying, we're trying to go to DallasCountyVotes.org, and the website keeps crashing. Then we're hearing stories of, if the website is up, it's giving us the wrong location to go to. So thank you to Cardall Coleman, who is the chair of the Democratic Party in Dallas County, because he, along with myself and Colin Allred, we all understood what should happen next, which was litigation. And so we were prepared and we were about to file when we received word that an order had been signed by Judge Stacey Williams. Judge Williams signed off on that order for Dallas County, but I want to be clear about this as someone who is running statewide, and frankly, as someone who is concerned that this will become the norm for the Republicans as they are understanding that Democrats are fed up right now, and right now Democrats are outvoting Republicans. They not only did this in Dallas County, they did it in Williamson County. Williamson County right now, from what I understand, has not been granted any relief. I am here to say that it is wrong for it to be done to anyone, a Democrat or a Republican. But the Republicans didn't even have enough sense or enough courage to go out there and try to get a court order on behalf of their constituents, the Republicans. So these hours are extended for the Democrats. Now, the other issue that we have heard all over happening today was that these voting machines, that they are down. I just received an email right before I walked up. It was actually out of Tarrant County, of a woman saying there was only one Democratic machine at the location that she went to in Tarrant County, and there's 12 or 13 Republican machines. Down in Lancaster, I've been told that they've had machines down all day, and ever since they've called first thing in the morning to get more machines, they finally did bring some at some point in time, but those machines were Republican machines, not Democratic machines. Listen, this may be a very close election.
Oh, wow.
And it may hinge on who was allowed to vote or who wasn't allowed to vote in Dallas County. But I'm here to say, regardless as to whether or not it's close or not, this is wrong.
Anyway.
If one person has the right to vote and they weren't allowed to cast their vote, we should all be standing together. Democrats, Republicans, and we should all be raising hell. But unfortunately, this was always the plan. And so I am grateful for this court order. And as Congressman Allred has already stated, we encourage each and every one of you to remain resilient. We cannot allow this type of behavior to be rewarded, because so long as they know that they can win, even if it means cheating, then they will continue to do it. So I am asking you, I am begging you to make sure that you go ahead and figure out where it is that you are supposed to vote, stand in line, wait in line, and if it means that I gotta come out there with you to wait with you, I will do that. And I promise you that going forward, especially as we go into November, we will make sure that this does not happen in the general election.
Any questions? In the context of voting rights, we know that a voter turned away is likely someone who does not vote that day. And there's a lot of reasons for it. It can be frustration, it can be their schedules, and so a lot of damage has been done. But I agree with Congresswoman Crockett that our message, I think, to folks is that your vote is so powerful, they're trying to take it away. Don't let them. And stand in line if you need to. We'll be there with you. We'll fight as we were fighting in court to get these hours extended. And this is an opportunity now that if you did miss that window, perhaps this morning when you were going to do your drive to work voting, that now you can go maybe this evening. I've got young kids. I understand how difficult that is. But our message to folks is this is an opportunity for us, at least in Dallas County, for Democrats in Dallas County, to have a couple of extra hours to try and do what we can to rectify this, and to take this as an example of a fight that we have to have for November, because we cannot have a repeat of this.
احنا كنا نايمين ها كان اطفال هذا الطفل وهذا الطفل كانوا نايمين ها هذا كان الطفل نايم عليها اطفالكم مستهلكين زيها.
From Gaza's shattered streets to Syria's broken neighborhoods, from Yemen's forgotten corners to Afghanistan's
so
cold
dark and
valleys,
so ugly.
the struggle is the same. But in
We've had it happen before, often because of machines or running out of ballots. In fact, the election administration, for me, is when I used to work in this, was often the most frustrating part. And this is, I think, also intentional, that we don't put enough state resources into running our elections. They don't have enough translators at polling sites. They don't have enough Spanish language ballots or other language ballots at polling sites. We make it difficult for voters with disabilities to vote. And I think a lot of this is intentional. So this is not without precedent that we've had to have an extension of the polling hours. I don't remember it being done because of one party's decision to throw this into chaos like this, though.
I don't know what you mean by respect the results. I definitely don't plan to engage in a January 6th, if that is what you're talking about. Listen, if it is clear that this is a very close race and potentially this race was impacted directly by this, I'll be disappointed. But curing this issue after the fact is almost impossible, which is why, as trained lawyers, we were like, it can't just be enough that we say, well, this is a problem and just stand there. I mean, when you're looking for leadership, you need people that have skill sets that understand the importance of what's happening in that moment. And that is why it was a matter of, okay, if we need to file this litigation ourselves, because time was ticking. If you file after the polls are closed, it's too late. So, this was filed in a timely fashion. We have been waiting. We have been getting stories. We have been collecting evidence because those are the things that you may need, especially if you have some pushback that is coming your way. But at the end of the day, there is no way to cure it after the fact. And so ultimately, would I be disappointed if for some reason it seems like this was a very close race and a lot of people that I would assume were supportive of me were disallowed? Absolutely. I can tell you that we have no idea how many people are being turned away. But as I was at Oaklawn, I can tell you that as at least in the time that there were observers there from the media, it was basically 1-to-1. One person goes in, they vote. One person comes out, they're not allowed to vote. That is significant. I mean, right now, I think we are close to 90,000 votes or so that have been cast at the last reporting. Just imagine if in the entire county, we've had 1-to-1 be turned away. That's 90,000 votes. I mean, we're talking about significant numbers. So it is my hope that, I'm liked somewhere other than Dallas County. But it's also my hope that going forward, we can recognize the fractures in what took place and we can prevent them on the front end. One of the things that is so frustrating for me is that we tend to be more reactive than proactive. And so I'm happy that the party got to this right before us because we were about to hit that file button. But I'm still very hopeful. I have traveled this state. I have talked to people both in Dallas County and otherwise. And I am just frustrated both for the people in Williamson County as well as Dallas County because they are entitled to cast their vote for whomever it is that they feel like should be representing them. The way to do it.
Yeah, good.
What I'll say is that, our primaries are always separate, right? They are, we have closed primaries, so you choose Democrat or Republican. What was different was the amount of influence that the Republicans were allowed to have over our primary. I was pretty frustrated when this first came about because I said, if y'all want your voters to do that, great. But that shouldn't impact Democratic voters. And so they did it more so to impact us. They didn't really care about what was going on their side. So I think that that's really what's new. Having issues with the administration of the election, we've seen that far too often.
So the claim, though, here from Alan West, the chair of the Dallas GOP party, was that this was to prevent voter fraud. That's outrageous. All this has done is create chaos both for our voters and for theirs. And it's anti-democratic. We have a long history of this in our state, though, whether it's this or even going back to our issues with having full inclusion in primaries at all within this state. This is, to me, another step in a long line of trying to make it more difficult to vote and gaming with primaries. And I've seen this over the course of our history in our state.
Never, ever sue the driver who crashed into you after a car accident. There's a better way to get compensated that's faster, easier, and could get you way more money without spending years in court or paying expensive lawyers up front. If you've been in a car accident within the past year, even if you were just a passenger, what I'm about to share could save you months of hassle and put tens or even hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, and that was just a general statement, just to be clear. Because obviously our Democratic Party chair got this done before the close of the polls. So I just want to clarify that. I do think that going into November, we have to take stock of exactly what's happened in our primary.
This is
I think
almost
that we
over,
also
y'all.
need to think about the warnings that have been issued by this administration. They've talked about federalizing the elections. They've talked about an executive order.
Wow.
They've talked about sending ICE out to polling locations.
They trying some of
to
everything.
intimidate people. So I do think that we are going to have to link arms with our
he's
civil rights
lost-
organizations.
he's lost,
ACLU, NAACP,
seats in
LULAC, Democracy Forward,
Texas
and so
that-
forth. And we are
Texas
going to
was
have to
red,
get court
red.
orders before we even get to voting about what is and is not allowed at the polling locations in this state. I also think that from a DC standpoint, we need to go ahead and apply pressure as it relates to making sure that that SAVE Act does not go forward. That was another point of confusion that the Republicans injected, because all the headlines that came from y'all, God bless you, were the SAVE Act passed. Now, if you don't read the entire article, then you may believe that it actually passed into law, when instead it passed the House. It hasn't passed the Senate. So we were still even having to explain to people that's not currently the law of the land. So I do
Lord,
think
okay,
that
I'm finna
Democrats
move on.
need to
I
be
hope
looking
she
from
wins
now
in
until
spite
November
of.
to number one,
Thank you, Ms.
make sure
Tom.
there's pressure applied so that it doesn't become the law of the land right before the next election. And so we need to educate both our voters as well as theirs about the harm in such
Oh, it's almost
litigation
over.
or legislation. I also think that we need to go ahead and see if even in the minority, we can move forward with legislation that is pro-democracy legislation. I know a lot of people look at DC and they say the Democrats are in the minority, and we are. But in the minority, we were able to get the Epstein Transparency Act passed. That was because of outside pressure that was applied by the people. So I think that we need to do that work now and try to drum up as much, as many people to get involved in this process, so that hopefully we can, even in the minority,
Oh, I would be
get
hurt
something
if I
that
was
looks
her.
like real democracy.
Doing it they intentionally. But yeah. And see, with that gerrymandering,
Yeah, so folks should know.
it did
that
away
there is a
with, I
process
think,
of
her
curing
district.
a provisional ballot. And it's difficult when it's done in this manner because it's regarding your polling place, and so this is more difficult. But I think what Congresswoman and I are committed to doing is helping anybody who wants to try and make sure that we'll help them try to cure their ballot.
Wow, they've been
There's a
trying
set
all of this so that
deadline
people wouldn't be
days
able to
after
vote.
the election for it to be done within. Usually has to be done at the
Trump, he always doing something.
at the voting election center, and it's a little bit arcane and difficult. But to any
Remember, he was just in Texas the other day.
about this, I encourage you to reach out to us.
Ted Cruz and another guy.
As a lawyer, several times. We'll do anything we can to provide you with that information, and in fact, we'll try and put it out tonight how you can cure your ballots.
I hope she wins anyway. Let's go.
She continued her studies online. But in the future, she's going to edit and say that she majored in political science from the beginning. That's not true. What we do know for certain is that it's going to take Erika 5 years to graduate college. And for some reason, in this year of 2008, Lori's going to receive a lot of money from the Army National Guard. IMET Laboratories, again, associated with Lori Franzfey, is going, the Army National Guard, is going to have to disclose that they gave $2.4 million to IMET Laboratories. Take a look at that. J3, J6, that's got to do with like cyber security, cyber operations. So Erika already, her mother, who she claims raised her as a single mom, she didn't. Unless maybe her mindset, it was the single mom because Erika was over on a base with her mother. But we now know that during this year, this crucial year where Erika is missing, her mother is going to wind up having received $2.4 million. I mean, this woman, from a model to a secretary to now she's getting all of this money. protect.
Millions.
It's interesting. Let's jump into 2009 because it's a most crucial year. Things are going to start to get spicy. Okay, so remember, going into this, Lori's already working with the United States military. She's receiving millions. Do not
And
forget
she's
that.
not mentioning that she's related to
2009,
Vince
Lori Franzke
Lombardi.
is going to establish Everyday Heroes Like You in April. In her filing, she will claim that it is a faith-based organization that is raising funds and developing programs for vulnerable children. Okay, they publish this initially on July 2nd of 2009. Okay, Lori seems a bit busy. She's already working with the government. She's maybe
Everything
in
messing with these kids.
or at least creating tech that's going to be used in Afghanistan. And now, wow, this hero is jumping in and going, I'm going to help vulnerable children. Why does that make me uncomfortable?
Yeah, it does.
Do I have a
Me
right to
too.
feel uncomfortable about that? Do you guys feel uncomfortable about that?
Yes.
Military bases and doing stuff for the military, and now, like, I'm going to help kids a little
And
bit.
I told y'all, there
Maybe
was
I'm
the
wrong. Maybe I'm
military
wrong.
bases that got
That's everything I
blown
know
up
about
today
Lori. I don't love it.
and yesterday.
Then in October, the same year, right after she establishes this, it is announced that the Romanian government has agreed to allow America to set up a military base along the Black Sea. Now, that's the first time things are crazy. Erika is going to make the claim, by the way, on a future podcast entitled Free Thinkers Only, that shortly after they established this charity, Everyday Heroes Like You, she's going to go to China to help women who were sex trafficked. So to be clear, she establishes this in 2009. Her mother establishes this in 2009. Where did Erika go to China? When did Erika go to China in 2009? I want you to listen to Erika in her own words. Take a listen.
I decided to create something called Everyday Heroes Like You, where we're able to originally, it was focused on bringing funds and awareness to various grassroots organizations that were in specific communities that would be able to have volunteers that are transparent with their funds, that are actually doing what they're saying they're doing, instead of just having 70% of the funds go to admin and only 30% towards the cause. So really just focusing on making sure there was a home for transparent organizations that people could learn about, get involved with. But from there, it kind of grew into something more global. I was living in China and doing a lot of work with the victims from sex trafficking, and then began to phase that into working with the Marine Corps and the Army, and then was able to work with a orphanage in Romania.
So people be saying that that's not true.
So she
just said it herself.
Everyday Heroes comes first. She goes
cause. So really
remember, we tried to
focusing on
Google it and
making
it
sure
said
that
it was not true. She did not. She just said it herself.
there was a home for transparent organizations that people could learn about, get involved with. But from there, it kind of grew into something more global. I was living in China and doing a lot of work with the victims from sex trafficking, and then began to phase that into working with the Marine Corps and the Army, and then was able to work with a orphanage in Romania.
Remember, we couldn't find that orphanage in Romania.
So she's clear there. Everyday Heroes comes first. She goes and she's working with sex trafficking victims in China. Then she gets this partnership with the Marines, and then she goes out and establishes the Romanian Angels Project. That's what she says then. Don't hold Erika to being consistent. You'll drive yourself crazy. But we're still in 2009. Who knows what's real with that? I wanted to play it.
Lombard.
What we do know is
The
that Erika
Vince
shouldn't be in
Lombardi.
Colorado anymore. Even by her own standards, when she says, I was there for my first 2 years of
Football
school.
coach
Well, in 2009,
with the
she should
trophy.
not be in Colorado anymore, and yet she is going to compete in November for Miss Colorado 2010. So you compete
That came out
in the
yesterday.
November before, so you wear the crown for the following year. So she competes in 2009 for Miss
Her
Colorado, and she
mother
places
is
fourth runner-up.
his
How
offspring.
did she qualify to compete is one of my questions. Now, I'll have you guys know, you'll see I added a note here that 2009, that the Romanian government agreeing to allow America to set up a military base, that's when you start to see Jeffrey Epstein beginning to procure women from Romania per his emails that are now available. He's gonna instantly get his hands over into Romania. Look, he's offering, here is information for the girl from Romania who will receive $10,000. There have been headlines about how often he refers to Romania throughout his email. Women from Romania per his email. Miss Colorado, and she places fourth runner-up. How did she qualify to compete is one of my questions. Now, I'll have you guys know, you'll see I added a note here that 2009, that the Romanian government agreeing to allow America to set up a military base, that's when you start to see Jeffrey Epstein beginning to procure women from Romania per his emails that are now available. He's gonna instantly get his hands over into Romania. Look, he's offering, here is information for the girl from
Remember
Romania
the tape
who
boys,
received
them tape brothers.
$10,000. There have been headlines about how often he refers to Romania throughout his emails. There is no question. This headline reads, several Romanian women named in newly released Epstein case files. I'll add here also that the #1 university that he seems to be involved with is Arizona State University.
She is
which
tying
Erika will eventually
Jeffrey
graduate from.
Epstein
For
to
the purposes of right
them.
now, just know that Jeffrey Epstein,
Yeah,
we have emails going back
but
to 2009, right when this base gets established.
He was tied to
suddenly
Trump, and so
he
was
is
she.
interested in procuring models from Romania. Okay, lock that into your mind because 2010.
Oh, hold on.
And suddenly he seems to be involved with is Arizona State University, which Erika will eventually graduate from. For the purposes of right now, just know that Jeffrey Epstein, we have emails going back to 2009, right when this base gets established, and suddenly he is interested in procuring models from Romania. Okay, lock that into your mind because 2010 is going to get crazy. This is the year that Erika will claim that she went to Loyola Marymount in her junior year of college. So that's going to be from fall 2009, spring 2010 about. We can find her in a yearbook or a graduation list. No person has come forward yet and said that they remember attending class with her, but she also could have attended classes online. I would assume, given the amount of travel that she keeps indicating, that she probably did take a lot of classes online. So just wanted to show you that this is when she's supposed to be at Loyola Marymount. On January 6th of this year, Jerry Franzfey creates an LLC called Luminarius with her daughter, the one that she had when she was 14, Deborah Himsel. She's going to follow mommy's footsteps from the very beginning, getting into psychology. It's another charter school company. Okay. Now, in my mind, when I think about charter schools, and I had received an article that was written about the corruption, particularly of charter schools in Arizona, you have to, or I had to ask myself, what are they doing with these charter schools? What would be the benefit of having these charter schools? Well, while you're being in charge of schools, you could create records for anybody. Actually, you would literally be able, if you wanted to, and you had some people who were maybe illegal and you needed to get them into school pretty quickly in elementary school, it would be good to control a fleet of charter schools. I'm not saying that's the case with Luminarius Group, but I'm finding this theme to be interesting of charter schools. And again, you can look up many articles about the corruption of the particularly charter schools in Arizona, which begins with Tesseract and now it continues to move. It's an interesting story. In November of 2010, this is where we find Erika filming November Renaissance, and they eventually put up a trailer on Kickstarter. She in particular is working with a lot of actors, directors, people involved in this project are affiliated with Fort Huachuca and Sierra Vista. Like, that is an intel base. How did Erika get this role? How did this happen? How is she doing this in addition to her studies? Maybe that's why she takes a year longer to graduate. I'm not sure, but I'm certainly interested in the fact that this movie, which never came out, was about corporate espionage, spies, going into a corporate company, working on behalf of a global government. That is a little too on the nose for me. And
Yeah.
again, by this time, Erika already has military connections via her mother. Where is her mother based, by the way? I'm going to assume if you're doing tech and you're creating tech for the DHS, you're not just doing this from like your basement. Is that a fair assumption? I don't know. We also know that in 2010,
The
Erika
rabbit
formed an
hole.
LLC with her then boyfriend Tyler Sandford. It's called Table 4 LLC. Tyler Sandford will be featured down the line as the actor in her My Kind of Crazy music video that she's going to film in 2013. I should also mention that he is a catcher for the Los Angeles Angels. Like I've said too many times, Erika is always dating people that have some level of fame. As you will see, this is the first person. But the end of 2007, or I should rather say this combination in 2010, pardon me, is crucial that I'm about to explain to you. Lori suddenly reinstates, remember, AZ Tech International Incorporated, first gets into a little bit of trouble because
Come
they're not
on and
filing
hit the yeah,
their
because
tax
it's
returns,
only
but then Lori
35
moves
likes
to
and it
reinstate
was
that
200
in
and something people in here. I'm
2010.
gonna shut it down.
AZ Tech International is back on the table. Well, for the first time that year, the Black Sea Rotational Force 10 goes out to Romania, and they establish the Mihail Kogolnichono, I hope I'm saying that right, Kogolnichono, probably not, air base in Romania. You can see that here. Marines, sailors of the Black Sea Rotational Force 2010 officially kicked off their 3-month engagement in the Black Sea region in a ceremony at Romania's Mihail Kogolnichono airfield on May 17th. Now, what's incredibly interesting, and we're going to get more into that in tomorrow's episode, is in particular, a lot of those people are coming from Reno, Nevada, of all places. Coming from Reno, Nevada. They are there, the banner that they're using, they're allegedly there because they're going to promote regional stability. We have a way with words, I will say, in the West. Regional stability, spreading democracy. The reality is that Colonel Otto Buscher is going to be accused of running a brothel and a human trafficking
There we go.
ring
Here you go.
from 2010, the very year that this was established, all the way through to 2015. Yes, Erika will come into contact with Colonel Otto Buscher. We're not going to focus on that today because the more important thing I'd like to introduce to you is Tyler Boyer. Tyler Boyer in 2010, just when this gets established, is going to make an appearance in Romania to work with the Romanian parliament. I'm sorry, what? He's going to stay approximately from May through to the end of the summer. This is the exact same time frame that the Black Sea Rotational Force 10 is going to be there. And here is the proof. Somebody had messaged me very early on. It was at the bottom of my inbox, and I was saying, I know that he went to Romania and was trying to figure out what he was doing. And they were like, oh, I actually talked to him about that. They were super friendly about it. I talked to him about that. And here's the conversation. Tyler writes, I went to Romania to do some work with a senator in the parliament there. And then he says, and he was friends, meaning the senator in Romania, was friends with this guy that owned a modeling agency.
Oh, here we
and
go.
took him to the beach. That's going to be in Constanta.
So she was a
for
Trump
4 days
pageant.
And legit slept collectively like 10 hours. The person says, oh, I was at the lake and they were there. I don't know what this person's talking about. And then Tyler says, but yeah, these girls were crazy and I got completely Romanian sloshed and it got very interesting. Haha, this is the Tyler I know. Everybody knows this is who Tyler is. By the way, pretty sure Tyler was married in 2010. Check the records. I think he was married to his first wife in 2010. And also, isn't he LDS? Doesn't that mean he's not supposed to be drinking? Oh, who cares? It's all for appearances anyways. Super Christian company. Who cares what they're actually doing? Let's continue. Tyler says they had this homemade whiskey that was like, I can't explain it, but yeah, the girls were wow. Both of them. I told you he's a sexual deviant. It's like crazy. I mean, there's just so much out there. It's crazy. Anyways, he says, the person said, I knew a few girls from there. Homemade whiskey makes a person frisky. I think that's in a song. And Tyler responds, haha, that's probably the cause and effect statement of the night. And I can drink a lot so I don't pass out or get weird or anything. Ha. Okay. Okay. We can come out of that. What was he doing? Who was the person in Romanian parliament that he was there to see? And what was the name of the modeling agency? I am dying to know. Because it's going to get real interesting now, right? Erika just can't remember. She can't remember how she knows him. She can't remember how she met him. It must. She said to me, maybe it was through a senator. Specifically, that's what she said to me in person. She said it might have been through a senator. I think it could have been through a senator. I think it definitely could have been through a senator. Honestly, the vibes are vibing here. I find that you both have a little something to do with what's going on in Romania as soon as we get there. As soon as America gets there and establishes a base, which is going to become pretty much synonymous, if you speak to Romanians, with trafficking. Models in Romania? Do you know Jeffrey Epstein, Tyler? Did you guys come across each other? Because he was dealing with models in Romania, too. Anyways, we got to figure out, if you guys don't mind, I know they're just carrying on Charlie's legacy. Everybody grieves differently, and it might not be the time to ask. But I'd really like to know what model agency that Romanian parliament member was working with, that Tyler had a fun night out with. I think it's a good place to pause before we bring Erika to Romania.
Oh, wow.
That'll be in tomorrow's episode. We're going to take a brief break, and I'm going to give you an interesting update about her uncle, Rick. All right, you guys, there is something pretty big that Americans keep forgetting. Behind the news cycles, tariff wars, and conflicts, there is an uncomfortable truth that we all have to admit. We now in the USA, at least 2010. If I'm being honest, I think you knew that's changing the world. Again, that's balanceofnature.com.
Okay, so y'all, let's pause and get the likes up, please. Can you hit the like button? Discussing orphan stealers. Yeah, and guess who else was stealing orphans out of Romania? Can y'all take a wild guess? Hit the like button, please. Support the platform. Like, share, and subscribe. Grab your membership, because I'm going to have to start going members only since I can't get y'all to hit the like button. Don't make no sense for y'all to get this good tea, and y'all can't hit the like button. You understand? Can anybody tell me who else the Jews definitely killed? Adam. Yeah, more than just the Jews. It was who started this war? What collaboration started this war? Can anybody tell me? Do anybody know? I'm waiting for y'all to get the likes up. I didn't vote for him. You didn't vote for who? It's in the Epstein files.
So Fergie has not been seen since September. She's kept her head down. She is a disgraceful grifter who actually, in the emails for Epstein,
Jasmine had asked her to carry their baby, but that wasn't going to be her baby with Jasmine.
Y'all don't remember?
So, my name is yourself, and my major
78 centimeters long, and I'm from Ring, Latvia.
So Fergie has not been seen since September.
Fergie.
She's kept her head down. She is a
Was
disgraceful
stealing kids
who
for orphans
actually in the
from
emails
Romania.
to Epstein.
Jasmine had asked her to carry their baby, but that wasn't going to
It's
be
in the
our baby
Epstein
with
files.
Jeffrey.
Y'all didn't know
They
that?
wanted to have a baby with Jeffrey, but she also wanted to have a baby with him. I did not want to have his baby.
Y'all, word is Sarah Ferguson might be the next one getting detained for questioning because her charity just shut down right as her name allegedly started getting linked to missing Romanian kids, and now people are whispering about sickening kids' logbooks that supposedly track children like inventory. And I'm not even exaggerating when I say the timing is terrifying. And this is where everything detonated.
Sarah Ferguson's charity has announced it will close for the foreseeable future after fresh revelations emerged about her friendship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Missing
Sarah's
kids
Trust,
in
the charity
Romania.
Ferguson launched in 2020, announced its closing for the foreseeable future. This came days after the U.S. Department of Justice released another massive tranche of Epstein-related documents. More than 3 million files, and Ferguson's emails were right there in the mix. And before this spirals any further, yes, being named in the Epstein files is not automatically proof of wrongdoing, but the content of those emails, that's what has people spiraling. Because one September 17th, 2009 email reportedly shows Fergie.
Hit the like button, please. This tea too hot. Y'all couldn't even tell me who else was involved that's in the Epstein files. The dots are connecting. It's full circle, baby. And y'all don't want to hit the like button for the tea? The real tea? You lying to me? Hit the like button, please. Her ex-husband done got arrested. Yeah, now we tying Erika Kirk. She's already been tied to Trump. Now, Epstein. And what's them other guys' names? The Tate brothers. Didn't Trump just get them out of jail? Out of prison? Or something like that? In Romania? On some trafficking charges?
And writing about another woman. You can marry her too. She is single and has a great body.
Marry her too.
Well, marry me and then we will employ her.
Hey,
That language alone
Marshmallow.
has people accusing her of trying to offer women into Epstein's world. Not as a victim, but as a participant. In the newly unsealed
She wanted
emails, Ferguson calls
a
Epstein
threesome,
the
a
brother
sister
I have always
wives.
wished for. She congratulates him on the arrival of a baby boy. She writes to him while he's literally in prison, asking for business advice on how to launch her Mother's Army company commercially. One email from June 14th, 2009 reads, I need to ask you how I start the Mother's Army company so it can be commercial. Can you help me? Then days later, I am alive. I am going to call you later. Love you. And this wasn't a one-off contact. According to sources, Epstein allegedly claimed he financially supported Ferguson for 15 years, starting right after her 1996 divorce from Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He reportedly wired money, helped with debt relief, and complained privately when she publicly called him a pedophile in 2011. She admitted to accepting £15,000 from him in 2011 and called it a giant error of judgment. Which makes the newer emails land differently. The financial relationship went much deeper and much longer. And layered on top of that, Epstein may have secretly targeted Ferguson despite their friendship, raising questions about whether she was being financially managed or manipulated from the start.
Jeffrey Epstein carried out a targeted campaign against Sarah Ferguson despite their close friendship, newly released documents show. The asked a private investigator for data collection on the former Duchess of York.
And this is where the timeline starts tightening. She reportedly took Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie to have lunch with Epstein just 5 days after he was released from prison.
You take your kids to a PDF.
5 days, which is why survivor accounts start echoing louder, describing alleged baby farms, forced pregnancies, and newborns being taken away, and then you see Ferguson congratulating Epstein on a baby boy. That phrase starts sounding different because the boy is now 14 and probably out here watching this.
New bombshell emails reveal Sarah Ferguson and Sarah Ferguson, despite their close friendship, newly released documents show. The asked a private investigator for data collection on the former Duchess of York.
And this is where the timeline starts tightening. She reportedly took Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie to have lunch with Epstein just 5 days after he was released from prison for offenses involving 5 days, which is why survivor accounts start echoing louder, describing alleged baby farms, forced pregnancies, and newborns being taken away, and then you see Ferguson congratulating Epstein on a baby boy. That phrase starts sounding different because the boy is now 14 and probably out here watching this.
Oh, he done ate him probably. I hope not.
Sarah Ferguson congratulated Epstein on the birth of a baby boy. The former Duchess of York offered her love, friendship, and congratulations to Epstein in September 2011, years after his sex conviction. If what is said in the email exchange is found to be true, it would make Epstein's secret son 14 years old.
Rena O publicly described Epstein allegedly asking her to carry a child for him. Other documents reference discussions about genetics and selective breeding at Zorro Ranch.
Not the way he described it to me. When he wanted to have a baby with me, he wanted a child that we were going to raise together. I didn't want to have this baby. There's a reason why I didn't engage in more with him, even though he wanted me to come over the house. And, you know, like, I thought he was going to try to get me pregnant. I didn't want to have this baby.
And inside those survivor narratives of children being tracked, of records. And this is where Romania enters the picture. For years, Romania has been at the center of pipelines into Western Europe. Survivors have spoken about children disappearing from impoverished regions and being moved through networks masked as humanitarian or philanthropic connections.
You see an increase in the numbers because these girls don't cross the border yet.
Don't know why they don't hit the. They don't want it to hit the
flats when they're very young.
algorithm.
And then as soon as they turn 13, maybe 14, you can put a lot of makeup on.
Tape brothers tried tied to Erika.
18, you export them.
They tied to Trump. They tried to Epstein. I'm sure they are tied to, in my opinion. There's a great chance. He knows, Andrew know a lot about Charlie.
Romania has the highest number of victims.
And he said he knows why and who killed him. Unalived him.
Grassroots work to address the humanitarian crisis and issues perpetuating cycles of extreme poverty. And at the
Did
same
you hit the
time,
like
online
button?
investigators start drawing lines between
Amelia?
Epstein's global network and vulnerable Eastern European children. The optics become explosive. Officially, there's no document tying her foundation directly to missing Romanian children. But speculation online is escalating because of how Epstein's operations allegedly worked, using charities, foundations, and humanitarian fronts to build access and influence.
A common but lesser-known mechanism for recruitment that's come to light in the Epstein files is the use of modeling agencies as a pipeline for traffickers to gain access to vulnerable victims. When we think about the exploitation that exists within the fashion industry, modeling isn't typically the first thing people think of. But there's a much darker side of this industry, and it has a history of being linked to human trafficking.
And then her charity suddenly folds just as Epstein emails resurface. And the fallout doesn't stop there. Julia's House, a children's hospice, dropped her as patron, saying it would be inappropriate to continue the relationship. Teenage Cancer Trust reviewed its affiliation. The British Heart Foundation removed her as ambassador. Multiple charities severed ties. Her latest children's book was reportedly pulled and 10,000 copies destroyed after renewed scrutiny of her Epstein links. Publishing insiders say she's considering writing adult fiction under a pseudonym to start again. Simultaneously, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office, reportedly linked to emails about his trade envoy role. Thames Valley Police conducted searches in Berkshire and Norfolk. His arrest was separate from sexual misconduct allegations, but the optics of simultaneous pressure on both of them are undeniable.
Police at the Royal Estate of
Yeah, she just brought that up.
There to arrest
That's why I'm tying Fergie.
Once the prince, now in police custody. In a statement, his older brother, King Charles, said the authorities
have our full and wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me state clearly, the law must take its course.
And TMZ just released old photos of Andrew kneeling on the floor playing with a child using a ball painted like a breast, complete with a protruding nipple. Even
wow, I didn't know that.
Fuel to a narrative already burning. Step back for a second and look at the pattern.
Now that I didn't know.
Multiple charities severed ties. Her latest children's book was reportedly pulled and 10,000 copies
That I did not know. I knew he was playing with a child, a toddler, but I didn't know the ball had a nipple.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office, reportedly linked to emails about his trade envoy role. Thames Valley Police conducted searches in Berkshire and Norfolk. His arrest was separate from sexual misconduct allegations, but the optics of simultaneous pressure on both of them are undeniable.
Police at the Royal Estate of Sandringham in the east of England, there to arrest Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. once the prince, now in police custody. In a statement, his older brother, King Charles, said the authorities
Yeah, no wonder.
have our full
Princess
and
Diana.
wholehearted support and cooperation. Let me
And
state
she
clearly,
called them
the law must take its course.
And TMZ just released old photos of Andrew kneeling on the
Critters.
floor playing with a child using a ball painted like a breast, complete with a protruding nipple. Even if sources say no misconduct occurred, those images add fuel to a narrative already burning. Step back for a second and look at the pattern
Wow.
forming. Epstein allegedly bankrolls Ferguson for 15 years. And people are now revisiting that 2008 Celebrity Apprentice charity auction where Howard Lutnick bid $100,000 for dinner with Sarah Ferguson while Andrew stood beside her. And it's resurfacing because Howard, Andrew, and Ferguson have all been photographed in Epstein's orbit over the years. Emails show warmth, dependency, and affection. She consults him on business moves while he's incarcerated. She takes her daughters to see him days after release. She apologizes to him after publicly criticizing him. Her charities drop her. Her own foundation suddenly shuts down. Survivor testimonies about baby farms and genetic projects circulate. Andrew gets arrested, photos resurface. And in the middle of all that, her charity disappears quietly. Officially, they say the closure had been under discussion for some months. But the timing with the DOJ document release is what has people whispering about damage control. And if investigators are combing through financial entanglements, email trails, travel records, and if any charity accounts intersected with individuals under scrutiny, shutting down a foundation before further disclosures hit would limit exposure. To be clear, there is no public charge tying Sarah Ferguson to missing Romanian children. There is no official logbook presented in court with her name on it, but online speculation is exploding because of how Epstein's network allegedly operated, through elite connections, philanthropy, and influence, and because Ferguson's emails place her emotionally and financially close to him long after his conviction. So when the phrase kids' logbooks starts trending, they're reacting to survivor claims of documented tracking inside Epstein's circle. And when they see Ferguson's charity collapse days after new files surface, they start asking whether this is just reputational fallout or preemptive insulation. And the tone online is shifting into something darker. One viral comment flat out says she was f***ing girls to him, including her own daughters. I hope we're all understanding the scale of this. But this is the part that won't leave my mind. If this was all innocent networking gone wrong, why does every new document seem to add another layer instead of clearing her name? And if more files really are coming, the question becomes,
gonna clear her
what else
name.
is sitting in those archives that hasn't hit daylight yet?
Oh, wow. A lot of activity in Romania. Jeffrey Epstein that's in those files. And now we have tied Epstein to Romania. Not one way, two way, but a couple of three ways that we know are tied to Trump and Apostle. Yeah, it's in the Epstein files. Lord, let's go. Let's go back to what she was saying that made me go here. My. Baby, that's circle, that's circle.
Just want to know what he was doing. I'm dying to know. It's like the one piece of her life, hundreds of thousands of customers in one simple routine that's changing the world. Again, that's balanceofnature.com. I just have to know what Tyler was doing in Romania.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Don't you guys just want to know what he was doing in Romania? I'm dying to know. It's like the one piece of her life Erika can't remember is how she met Tyler Boyer. It's crazy. And the person that introduced you to your husband. I feel like you and Lori and Tyler go
Liberty.
back. Like way back.
Family
you know what I'm saying?
ties.
I feel like you guys have known each other for like since at least 2010. If I'm being honest. I think you knew the Farnsworth and I think you knew the Boyers. That's
and the McCoys.
I'd actually go back further. I think you guys maybe even knew each other since Afghanistan. But I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to introduce that. Like how you guys maybe even could have known each other. I mean, just dancing around each other there in Arizona, all getting involved in the same stuff, charter schools, and then you and Tyler are gonna graduate in the same year. It's all so crazy. I need to know.
Liberty.
Tell me. What happens? What happened with Turning Point USA? Just knew, got lucky on a pilgrimage, I guess, and there Charlie was at the airport in Israel. You saw him. Your mom said, go up to him. She's a pusher, right? Lori's a pusher. I always thought it was so strange how you never mentioned that I was at the airport with Charlie. Just just thought that was so weird. You never said that. Yeah, I saw Charlie with Candace because we were actually together for that trip. So interesting. Anyways, it's a tangled web that we weave, Erika.
Y'all, please hit the like
A little
button.
update for you guys on Uncle Rick. I would argue that he's a fraud. Actually, I wouldn't argue it. It's not my opinion. That was the bar's opinion.
Hey,
Remember, I told you
melanated
he lost his
queen.
legal license in 2009. And
Hey.
I wasn't sure what or why
Mo
or how. I
three
did know
sector.
that his father, Tony, had bestowed upon him some of that money. But he was like, look, I don't know how this happened or how it got here. Bar's opinion. Remember, I told you he... Fun little update for you guys on Uncle Rick.
Slick Rick.
I would argue that
Slick Rick,
he's a
thank you.
fraud. Actually, I wouldn't argue it. It's not my opinion. That was the bar's opinion. Remember, I told you he lost his legal license in 2009, and I wasn't sure what or why or how. I did know that his father, Tony, had bestowed upon him some of that money. But he was like, look, I don't know how this happened or how it got here. Well, there actually was a very detailed article about how he lost his license, and I'd like to share that information with you. We learned the reason. Rick is the movement that is mentioned throughout this article. I'm just going to clear this up for you. The first reason that his legal license was removed is because he didn't pay his dues. Okay, my best guess is the reason he's hoping that they would stop their investigation into him. But they didn't. We learned that in 2010, they then opened an investigation into him for the following reasons. Reason number one is because while employed by the Bank of Corbin to perform title searches on certain properties, Rick didn't inform the bank that other mortgages already existed on those properties. So they were issuing loans to multiple people for the same property, right? This means a failure to disclose this information resulted in the Bank of Corbin issuing loans on 4 of the properties that were already encumbered by pre-existing mortgages. Banks just loans, and it's going to this one property. Just so you guys are clear, this is exactly what led to the financial crisis. You ever seen the movie The Big Short? This is what happened, okay? We continue. The second reason is that Bill transferred 50% of the stock that he owned in B&G Holdings LLC, and that's Bill, his brother, the one that goes to prison for years. Well, we learned
The
that
tea
Bill
is hot,
transferred
Joe.
50% of that stock to an LLC called Bill Erpenbeck Children LLC, and Rick managed that LLC. So Rick's brother, Bill, made the transfer. This goes on without any consideration, and while Rick was indebted to several leading institutions because he stole money from people. And then that went to an LLC controlled by his brother, Rick. And by the way, while they were going through bankruptcy court, trying to find money, you know how this happens after they steal from middle class people and poor people, and they go, well, where's the money? And people lose their homes. And well, then these people go into bankruptcy court, and Bill's like, I don't know where the money is. Well, actually, in this case, the money was in an LLC controlled by Rick. So that's what happens. Rick ended up not only with Tony's money, but he also ended up with a good portion of Bill's money as well. Cool. Thirdly, Rick prepared a deed transferring property to a woman named Anita Andrews, but apparently he did not record that deed with the county, and the deed wasn't actually signed by Anita Andrews. That's weird. And he then quickly transferred that same property to his mother and father. So this kind of feels like this is deed fraud.
Yeah, here we go
There's some
again.
sort of fraud going on with property. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling really weird about the fact that he's the witness on these crazy divorce docs. I'm feeling weird. Vibes are not vibes. Ultimately, Rick was found guilty. That's why he had his license suspended, but only within the state of Kentucky.
Some ain't right.
August of 2009. But, and here is the kicker, they found that his actions did not rise to the level of criminality, just professional negligence. It's amazing. It is amazing
Where they do that at?
What wealthy criminals get away with.
You
right?
ain't
So could
lying.
you just imagine the people whose entire lives got ruined because they believed in this company, they gave their money, they're doing mortgage, whatever it is, and then banks are going under, Their entire life savings have been depleted, and we just look at the characters involved, and he's like working at Universal. Doing more LLCs with Lori. Lori's working with the government. Like I said, there's no bar to entry when you're with the gang. You know what I mean? The people that are running things, doesn't matter. They write the laws. They'll read the laws if they want to read the laws. And this was professionally not okay. He committed no crimes here. He just was negligent professionally. But let you get too many parking tickets.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
to jail. Let you speed. If you're just speeding a little bit too quick on the freeway,
You going to
right,
jail.
straight to jail. Never get your life back. Oh, you've got a record now. You were smoking a joint. You got a record. Hunter Biden, you're smoking crack down the freeway. Recording yourself. You hand in your own laptop. He's like, you know, I'm like, you know what? We're flying high. We can do whatever we want, okay? He's good. He's never going to see a day in prison. Just wanted to let you know, these are the people that roll over us. Anyways, enjoy your time at Universal Studios. In other news,
Oh, wow.
Blake Neff is obviously demented. I don't know what's wrong with this person. I don't know if he might be Jewish. I don't even know. Because, like, I hope he's Jewish. I hope he's Jewish. Because.
Yeah, he
Or
loco.
I don't know what's going on here. If this is just like a social disorder, whatever it is. They're obviously watching every minute of the series, and despite everything that we have presented, despite the questions that we sent them ahead of the series that were then forwarded to a lawyer for no reason, I had my producer Ashley send questions, and they're like forwarded to a lawyer, and the lawyer writes back all snippy. But we'd like to know the answers to some of these questions. We're saying a lot here, right? Possible gang ties, we don't know. In the past, obviously, Vince Lombardi, is that her grandpa? I don't know. Is that Lori's mother? Is Lori even Erika's mother? Erika's weird little Tesseract school, fraud following Lori, money disappearing everywhere they go. But there was only one thing that Blake Neff could not bear. He couldn't bear it. He put his foot down last night, and he issued a full-throated statement. He did not care. He came for me hard, because no one comes for Shabbat Shalom. No one comes for Erika Shabbat Shalom. Remember yesterday I was joking about Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home, throw down the phone. Look at what Turning Point, what Blake actually authored. This is not a joke, okay? He could not bear me ridiculing Erika over Shabbat Shalom. This is what he wrote on X. I have avoided commenting on most of what Candace Owens' claims are the past few months. However, her last episode contains such a blatant untruth about Charlie's daily life that I feel compelled to correct it. In this episode, Candace Owens aggressively ridicules Erika for using the phrase Shabbat Shalom and suggests that Charlie's last book, Stop in the Name of God, about the value of observing the Sabbath, is a fabrication to make Charlie appear more pro-Jewish and pro-Israel than he really was. It is very revealing that Candace would fixate on this, as it immediately reveals unfamiliarity with Charlie's behavior for the entire period that I knew him. Charlie was observing his evangelical Christian version of Shabbat. Like, I can't even read this whole thing. It's absurd. You can come out of that because it is just absurd. It is so absurd. I can't even believe that he's authoring this. First off, Blake, I could show you text messages that turning your phone off on Saturday, I was doing first and telling Charlie he should do. Before anybody, as soon as I met George, that became a thing. I'm aware he turned his phone off on Saturdays, okay? That's been going on. I did it first, okay? I've been watching this whole story spun, and what we're making fun of is that being the first thing that you hit on tour, the idea that he finished this book, that this was his legacy. It's pretty obvious here that you guys were trying to make us just remind us of how much Charlie loves Israel. I mean, Bibi Netanyahu came out within 48 hours to remind us of how much Charlie loved Israel. We're aware of the PSYOP, and it failed. But that this would be the thing that you broke your silence on, like, everything Candace is saying, how dare she discount the fact that Charlie, I just want to be clear, Charlie loved dreidel. Dreidel. He made it out of clay. He'd spin it, he'd play. He loved latkes. Enough is enough. They're delicious, they're crunchy, and they're salty. And we will not stand for Candace to say this. I'm sorry, Blake. I'd like to apologize. Shabbat Shalom. Daddy's home. Doing his phone. Glad we cleared that up. Charlie's phone was off on Saturdays.
Daddy's home.
It was like a rapper sliding in like Usher. Daddy's home, Shabbat Shalom. I'm sorry. Oh, everything Candace is saying. How dare she discount the fact that Charlie, I just want to be clear, Charlie loved dreidel. Dreidel. He made it out of clay. He'd spin it, he'd play. He loved latkes. Enough is enough. They're delicious, they're crunchy, and they're salty. And we will not stand for Candace to say this. I'm sorry, Blake, I'd like to apologize. Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home. He threw in his phone. Glad we cleared that up. Charlie's phone was off on Saturdays. Bro was like a rapper, sliding in like Usher. Daddy's home, Shabbat Shalom. I'm sorry, Erika, and I'm sorry, Blake. I will never do this again. We'll be back after a quick break.
Candace, what was that? What was that? Oh my God, how funny. Let's go.
He threw in his phone. Glad we cleared that up. Charlie's phone was off on Saturdays. Bro was like a rapper, sliding in like Usher. Daddy's home, Shabbat Shalom. I'm sorry, Erika, and I'm sorry, Blake. I will never do this again.
Did she just do the wave and the snake? What?
He loved latkes. Enough is enough. They're delicious, they're crunchy, and they're salty. And we will not stand for Candace to say this. I'm sorry, Blake, I'd like to apologize. Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's home. He threw in his phone. Glad we cleared that up. Charlie's phone was off on Saturdays. Bro was like a rapper, sliding in like Usher. Daddy's home, Shabbat Shalom.
These organization pieces from HSN are must-haves to keep your home neat and clutter-free. The improvement...
I'm sorry, Erika, and I'm sorry, Blake. I will never do this again. We'll be back after a quick break. All right, you guys, if you are trying to get healthier, sleep better, or finally lose those stubborn pounds, your gut's health might be the key that you've been missing. The Just Thrive Gut Essentials Bundle gives your body the support that it needs to reset, rebalance, and get your body working with you and not against you. It starts with Just Thrive Probiotic to their full line of justthrivehealth.com/Candace, promo code Candace at checkout. It was created by Purge. It's a non-pharmaceutical allpurgestore.com/Candace. Well, that's why American Financing created the Smart Equity Loan. It's to find out if you qualify. So call 800-795-1210. Again, that's 800-795-1210. Or visit americanfinancing.net/Owens. Again, that's americanfinancing.net/Owens.
Please hit the like button.
Just to be clear, I do love latkes. They are delicious. They're very, very
That's
good.
the do's
And they're
dance.
salty, so there's that. We can meet in the middle, Blake. You
Shalom,
better be Jewish. You'll
shalom.
find out you're not
Daddy's
Jewish, you're in so
home.
much trouble. Anyway, top comments from yesterday's episode. Angus writes, imagine if Candace died and a week later, there was a stranger sitting in her chair telling us she never believed Brigitte was a man and she loved Israel. That's what happened to Charlie. So well said. It's just upside down land. It's just so crazy. I'm like, do they even like him? Forget love Charlie. Do they even like him? Was he really just a means to an end? I'm wondering. Blame it on a Black Star writes, I wonder if Erika is learning new things about herself from this series. I think Erika
Oh my God.
hits reset every morning.
Shalom.
And I think the Erika that yesterday is not the Erika today and will not be the same Erika as tomorrow. If there's something about, she's just on autopilot. Anyway, reminding you guys, if you want to support us, buy something on the website. You can just go to KSOWens.com. Get great merch. It's, it's the best, easiest way to support us in independent journalism. Okay, getting into some of your comments from today's episode.
Shalom,
Fasted Rights,
Daddy's
Day of
home.
Prayer for the Epstein victims is set for July 4th. Father in heaven bless these victims. They are scared, silenced, and alone. We will declare our independence from these evil monsters running our world. In Jesus' name, please, amen. Christ is King. Yes, pray. It means something, guys. I am telling you, you can feel it. The energy is shifting. There's an awareness like there has never been an awareness before. We couldn't even discuss these topics. The probability of these sort of dynamics happening globally. If it was a few years ago, you would sound like you were a crazy person. And we're now able to discuss these prospects because people are pursuing independent voices and people are considering how we got here. I would also really like to say, as I have said many times before, get your kids out of school. If you are able to do so. I just have had a very strong sense that you need to pull your kids out of public schools. There's just a lot of that stuff happening right now. I'll leave it at that.
Robert Maxwell wrote the books.
Janusek writes, it's my birthday. Also, I have 2 questions. Did Charlie date anyone else before Erika? I had alluded to the fact that Charlie did have one person that he was very, 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 very into before Erika, and that's why it was LOL hilarious when Turning Point PR tried to push out this narrative like Candace and Charlie were a thing. I was so his wing woman, you have no idea. I actually became very close with that young lady because I felt like it was just me texting her all the time because Charlie would ask me, what should I text? What should I say or whatever. Charlie really was like a kid brother to me. So the answer to that question is yes, one person. But yeah, then you met Erika. That's the answer. The second question that you have, also happy birthday, Rachel. I didn't say happy birthday. Do you know if Erika still has her kids? I saw some posts about Charlie's parents taking them. Thank you, Candace. You are amazing. There's no truth to that. Erika definitively still has her kids. UT Gramshar writes, thank you, Candace, for simply being you. We are very thankful for your courage, your faith, and your drive to find the truth in all things, to continually ask questions. Anyone who has attacked you for doing what Charlie would say to do owes you an apology. Go, Max. I will not hold my breath for an apology. I'm not even interested in an apology. I just want to get to the truth, and we're getting closer to the truth. And getting into Romania and bringing these pieces together and establishing the characters and the narrative was all just sort of necessary steps that we had to take. Tremendous thank you to our little team in there who, trust me, we've been working hard. Everybody has been working really hard researching and fact checking and also enduring a lot of emails on top of everything. So, and also thank you to everybody out there as we get closer to being finished with this series. It was only supposed to be 3 episodes, but because they posted Savannah's baby, I was like, oh no, you're getting a whole extra week. You don't post infants on the internet. You just don't post infants on the internet. And then I added another episode because somebody called Skylar and left a message. So this is how I play. We can go a whole year. I can do a whole year. Brigitte got a season 2 because she sued me. Brigitte was supposed to just be an episode. And then she sent me a threat and she got a season. And then she sent me a lawsuit and she got a 2nd season. So, and that's where I'm at right now. Gracie Lou writes, I would be so blessed to have a friend like you. That said, how did Erika Kirk scam a genius like Charlie? The more I hear her past interviews, the dumber she sounds. I don't get it. Shaking my head. This stuff with men and women is biblical. You go to Genesis. I mean, this is not about an IQ of people saying, Charlie was a genius. How could he hire people around him? IQ and EQ are totally different things. And on the topic of women, Charlie wasn't a genius. He just wasn't a genius on the topic of women. Don't be ridiculous. And you grow to trust people. People forget how young Charlie was. So even in terms of who was around him, you make mistakes. We are all human. It doesn't matter how genius you are. Interpersonal relationships, that's an entirely different dynamic. I have been friends with people and those friendships have fallen apart. I would say I have a pretty high emotional, I have a high EQ, definitively, and sometimes you get it wrong. This is all normal stuff, and so
hey,
I think
let me go over here real quick before I get ready to go. I'm trying to keep this under 2 hours because my likes are not where they need to be, but let me check this out real quick about Fergie. Because she had her kids like right there with him. I'm like on the island for real. Who does that? What type of I think people who are okay with PDFers and stuff like that had to have been touched or tampered with.
Fallout from the Epstein scandal is The fallout from the Epstein scandal is no longer just The fallout from the Epstein scandal is no longer just
I need for y'all to see this.
The fallout from the Epstein scandal is no longer just about court files and leaked emails. The fallout from the Epstein scandal is no longer just about court files and leaked emails. It's now tearing through the next generation of the York family. According to reporting in Woman magazine cited by The Express, Princess Beatrice and Princess Jeannie are said to be emotionally broken by the controversy surrounding their parents.
One image he's seen wearing a robe, eyes
shortly
after he finished serving his sentence. So Princess Eugenie and Beatrice are finally cutting off their mother for good. According to a royal insider, the girls are planning to take Sarah Ferguson to court for selling them to Epstein. Turns out that
For
Epstein
what?
actually made tapes of them. Beatrice and Eugenie kept quiet about it before, but now that the cat is out of the bag...
What?
The fallout from the Epstein scandal is no longer just about court files and leaked emails. It's now tearing through the next generation of the York family. According to reporting in Woman magazine cited by The Express, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are said to be emotionally broken by the controversy surrounding their parents.
One image he's seen wearing a robe, eyes closed, holding what looks like a small child in his arms.
She clearly knew of Epstein's depraved activities, but she's still engaged with him and even took her daughters to visit him shortly after he finished serving his sentence. So Princess Eugenie and Beatrice are finally cutting off their mother for good. According to a royal insider, the girls are planning to take Sarah Ferguson to court for selling them to Epstein. Turns out that Epstein actually made tapes of them. Beatrice and Eugenie kept quiet about it before, but now that the cat is out of the bag, they plan to prosecute their mother even if she's trying her best to run away from all of it.
Where's Sarah Ferguson been? According to media reports, she's been staying at a $24,000 a day wellness clinic since the most recent batch of Epstein files landed.
Yep.
So Princess Beatrice, it's now tearing through the next generation of the York family. According to reporting in Woman magazine cited by The Express, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are said to be emotionally broken by the controversy surrounding their parents.
One image he's seen wearing a robe, eyes closed, holding what looks like a small child in his arms.
She clearly knew of Epstein's depraved activities, but she's still engaged with him and even took her daughters to visit him shortly after he finished serving his sentence. So Princess Eugenie and Beatrice are finally cutting off their mother for good. According to a royal insider, the girls are planning to take Sarah Ferguson to court for selling them to Epstein. Turns out that Epstein actually made tapes of them. Beatrice and Eugenie kept quiet about it before, but now that the cat is out of the bag, they plan to prosecute their mother even if she's trying her best to run away from all of it.
Where's Sarah Ferguson been? According to media reports, she's been staying at a $24,000 a day wellness clinic since the most recent
mentally
files landed.
insane.
So Princess Beatrice and Eugenie have been having a hard time dealing with the fallout from the Epstein files. And it's not exactly surprising. The sisters are mentioned at least hundreds of times in the files because of their mother, Sarah Ferguson. And that's a slap in the face for Sarah because last year, her spokesperson said that she had actually severed her ties with Epstein as soon as she was aware of the extent of the allegations. In fact, Sarah even attacked Virginia Giuffre during an interview after she brought up allegations concerning her husband, Prince Andrew.
From a woman who says that between 1999 and 2002, when she was underage, she was forced to have sex with Prince Andrew on several occasions. What was your reaction when you heard that?
Well, knowing him as I know him, and he's one of the greatest men I've ever met.
Oh, why you leaving?
And my best friend and great father to my children. I just thought, I don't understand in this day and age how people can make salacious lies up. This is defamation of character of a person that is the opposite to how he's being portrayed.
But the files reveal the true picture. Sarah was flying out to Palm Beach to meet Epstein 5 days after he was released from prison, having served 13 months of an 18-month sentence. The wildest part? She took Beatrice and Eugenie, who were 20 and 19 at the time back then, with her.
How could any mother consider taking their 19-year-old daughter to meet a
Now, why would Sarah do something like that? Why would she willingly take her young daughters to a man who was in jail for taking advantage of women? Well, it's because Sarah wanted to sell her daughters to Epstein for a seat at the table. She had Epstein attend the girl's 18th birthday party. She was pretty much parading him around as the friendly family uncle.
This picture was taken at Windsor Castle on July 15th of 2006 at Princess
So
Beatrice's Victorian
these mothers
themed
will
18th
sell their
birthday party.
kids.
And just to be crystal clear about something, Princess Beatrice's real birthday is a few weeks after July 15th. It's the beginning of August, so it's... And just to be crystal clear about something, Princess Beatrice...
For a seat at the table. She had Epstein attend the girl's 18th birthday party. She was pretty much parading him around as the friendly family uncle.
This picture was taken at Windsor Castle on July 15th of 2006 at Princess Beatrice's Victorian-themed 18th birthday party. And just to be crystal clear about something, Princess Beatrice's real birthday is a few weeks after July 15th. It's the beginning of August, so it's a few weeks after her party actually was. So at her birthday party on July 15th of 2006, she was still 17. How could Andrew and Sarah be so bold and brazen to invite him to their daughter's party, knowing crimes were against the same age demographic that both of their daughters fall in?
Andrew even sent him pictures of the girls on Christmas, and it seemed like Epstein liked what they brought to the table.
We now know that her father, Andrew Mountbatten, emailed photos of his daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, bike riding and climbing to Jeffrey Epstein in 2010 and 2011.
The emails show him routinely asking about whether Sarah would be bringing the girls along with her. In one email, she wrote to Epstein apologizing that the girls were not around this weekend. Shows I don't crack the whip when I'm not in the country. Actually, Eugenie was in France and Beatrice was out with Dave. In another text to a friend, Epstein tells Sarah a friend will be in London, adding, "Any chance of your daughter saying hello?" In another message to Sarah in March 2010, Epstein writes, "Thank you, Sarah. Could you C, one of your daughters, show Buckingham thanks?" An apparent reply from Sarah reads, "Of course." And here's where it gets worse. Apparently, climbing the social ladder is not the only reason Sarah sold her daughters to Epstein. Turns out she was desperately in love with him. An email from the woman herself to Epstein dated January 30th, 2010 reads,
The man
"You are
with
a legend.
with the
I really don't
lemon
have the words to describe my love,
and
gratitude for your
Pelican's
generosity
beak.
and kindness. I am at your service. Just marry me." She would lean on Epstein for everything, even business ventures.
Did you know that Sarah Ferguson was introduced to Target by Jeffrey Epstein? Yeah, you know her whole Sarah Ferguson line that Target agreed to carry? That was a Jeffrey Epstein introduction. Good thing we're already boycotting Target, right?
In fact, when Sarah was going through a rough patch financially, she turned to Epstein of all people for bankruptcy advice. An email from her dated 13th July 2009 reads, "Jeffrey, you are true friend." She then asks for his advice on a remarkable offer from John Caldwell, the British billionaire founder of the mobile phone shop Phones4You, to clear her mounting debt burden. He has decided he would like to give me £10 million, but for that he wants 50% of my net profits for life. Epstein apparently replies, "Have him put the deal in writing." At another point, Sarah even asked to work as his house assistant. Now the public is disturbed, but the real victims here are the sisters. And they're having a hard time dealing with everything. According to The Mirror, the sisters at this point in time are having full-blown crisis talks. And they took place over the weekend in a last-ditch effort to try and navigate the predicament they have found themselves in. Meanwhile, according to Russell Myers, the royal editor of Britain's The Mirror newspaper, who has covered the Windsor family for the past decade, it's incredibly distressing for both young women to see themselves mentioned so freely by their parents to a convicted offender. He also told CNN that there was a great deal of sympathy for them, but the public obviously had a lot of questions about their involvement as well. The questions remain, both inside the palace and publicly, as to whether Beatrice and Eugenie could have raised concerns both to their parents, or more widely, considering how close they were brought into Epstein's world, even after he was convicted of serious sex offenses. And in the midst of the chaos, the girls have decided that it's in their best interest to keep a distance from their parents. They have not made any public statements, and they spent Christmas with the king and the rest of the Windsor clan in Sandringham. However, according to one royal insider, the girls are not letting their mom off the hook. They suffered because of her years of poor choices, and now the entire world has front row tickets to their private tapes.
Imagine finding out your mother told a friend you were away on a shagging weekend. Now imagine that friend is a convicted pedophile. There is a strong suggestion that both were used as pawns in their parents' quest to curry favour with, and in the case of Sarah Ferguson, borrow money from, welfare. There's seemingly no way back now for Mountbatten Windsor or Ferguson, but the question remains, what lies ahead for their daughters?
That's not something they can simply brush under the rug, which is why they are allegedly gearing up to sue Sarah for selling them to Epstein. And that news apparently has Sarah scrambling for damage control. According to Star Magazine, Fergie's desperate for cash and wants Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie to loan her money. But even worse, she wants them to help do damage control with various people within the firm and within their wider social circle. But that's not what's happening here. here. At the end of the day, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are not willing to move on from the trauma anytime soon, and that makes a lot of sense. Sarah did not act like a mother, and she deserves to be held accountable for it. The only question is the crown going to support the girls, or is it going to leave them alone in their struggle for justice?
Okay, before we go, I'm see. I don't know. Right now they're showing some U.S. cargo being bombed. So let's look at this for a minute, then I'm out of here. Please hit the like button. Double tap the face of your screen. Or hit the three dots at the top right. Before I pull this up, can y'all hit the like button? Oh, I can watch it over here. Ooh. So y'all don't want to hit the like button? Yeah, go ahead and leave. Oh, wow. Please hit the like button. Do not come in here watching if you're not going to hit the like button. Please exit to the left. Hit the like button. Yeah.